Bobby on the track.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday Night Live. Mike is not able to join us this evening, but we have a special guest with us, Doug Bratton. How's it going, Doug?
I'm doing great, Trev. Thanks for having me on, and hello to everybody in the chat. I see a few familiar names and lots of new ones, which is awesome.
Right. So got Doug on here to talk about his new Kickstarter, Isolation. Awesome comic. We'll go over that a little bit. Let's get to the chat. Just call out these names that were able to make it out. Tina, what's going on, babe? Thanks for coming out. Las Cruces, what's going on? Phil, what's going on? Phil's Treehouse. Awesome show today. Monch, what's going on, Monch? Awesome artist in the community. Joe, what's going on, Joe? Appreciate you coming out. Always awesome show on Friday nights. Cat fan, what's going on, bestie? Hope you're having a good day. Hope the storming is done up there in Oklahoma. Will, what's going on, Will? Hope you're doing good. Gary Woods, what's going on? Hope you're well. Hope everybody had a great weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're having good plans for tomorrow. Bethany, what's going on? Crafts by Bethany. She's going to have her first live stream tomorrow night, so check that out. She just hit 50 subs. DJ Wise's wife. Kenneth Bird, what's going on, Kenneth? Thanks for coming out. Las Cruces, what's going on, Las Cruces? I think I already said hi to you, though. If not, say hi to you again. Wellbore, what's going on, Wellbore? Lady Prime, what's up, LP? Thanks for coming out. Awesome show on Friday. Like when you're involved in there. Random Ribs, what's going on, Kevin? Thanks for coming out. Awesome card ripping channel. Rich, what's going on? Comic Cap Collectibles. Another awesome comic channel. Hawaii 5-0, thanks for coming out. Aloha. And that looks like it's all that's here right now. So we got Doug here to talk about his new Kickstarter. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Sure. Thanks again for having me, Trev. In the comics world, I currently write a comic series called Isolation, which is a mystery series with fantasy and horror elements. Well, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on. But prior to that, I was a newspaper and magazine cartoonist for about 15 years and had a syndicated comic panel called Pop Culture Shock Therapy, and also did magazine work for a number of different magazines, including the ones most people have heard of would be Mad Magazine and Nickelodeon Magazine. So I've been in and around the comics world as a cartoonist and writer for about 20 years or so.
Awesome. Yeah, whenever you partnered up with Reggie Collects, what, about 2 years ago, about a little over 2 years ago, I was really intrigued by the whole premise of the book. It's a conglomeration of a lot of different genres, and I think that's what intrigued me, especially now that I've started reading The Dark Tower. I think it has a lot of similarities almost to the Dark Tower because of just the mishmash of different ideas and concepts. And yeah, it's fantastic. I'm really glad to see you continuing it. What exactly is going on behind the backing of Isolation right now?
So Isolation started with, if those in the chat that are familiar with Reggie Collects, who's a YouTuber who started his own publishing division, Swolger Publishing, and Reggie launched the series and released the first 4 issues under his Swolger Publishing label. Reggie announced earlier this year that he was stepping away both from publishing and YouTube, and is a great guy, and I miss working with him as a partner in that way. But he was also very gracious, and obviously he, as the publisher, owns the rights to the first 4 issues of Isolation. And I asked him if he would be okay if I released it as a trade paperback to continue the series in comic book form. And he was absolutely wonderful and was like, yes, absolutely. So that's why we started the Kickstarter, to raise the funds, not only to release the trade, but hopefully to raise enough funding to keep the series going in comic form. And I say that because while Isolation's a mystery comic series, when I first developed it and started writing it, I wrote it as a draft novel. So the first third of the entire series is written in book form, and I have the ability to release that in the world in that format. But the story is very visual. It takes place in multiple time periods. The directly after major wars, right after the Civil War, right after World War I, and right after World War II, as well as in the 1990s. So there's a lot of visually interesting things, and it just works great as a comic book. So we're hoping to be able to continue releasing it in comic form.
Nice. Okay. I was curious about that. I did see the Red Derby edition. Red Derby
Yes.
Press. Okay. That was the
So
noticeable difference.
Yeah, so that is thanks for noticing that and bringing it up. When Swolger Publishing stopped, and I knew we were going to do this as a creative team and independently publish it, I wanted to release it under a banner that had some meaning to me personally. And a very close friend of mine who I met in high school was a circus clown performer internationally. His name was Rob Torres, and just an amazing, talented performer. He became one of the top artistic circus clown performers on the planet. He had theater shows in Paris, and was the lead clown at the Big Apple Circus for years, and would perform all over the world at Disney and other places like that, and cruise ships. And we were close friends, and he was always very supportive of me in my comic and cartooning work. And he unexpectedly passed away about 5 years ago. Just had complications due to heart failure while he was traveling home to see his family. If anybody ever wants to Google, I posted some videos on my Instagram, but if you ever Google on YouTube or go on YouTube and look up Rob Torres, circus performer, you can see his brilliant performances. And he always wore a red hat. And the one that I always remember was a red derby hat. And so I named our independent publishing label, Red Derby Press, and honor and memory of Rob.
All right, very awesome. Very awesome. So that's something that you started that's going to be under your control here going forward.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Um, After you did, I was really curious about this. Was this the first, I guess, after you started doing newspaper and cartoons, was this the first idea you had that you wrote?
No, that's another really good question, and the answer is actually no. When I was doing my newspaper comic, um, I would have ideas for other stories in different forms, and just didn't have time between my career and doing a deadline driven newspaper comic. Just didn't have the time to write other things, so I would just keep all of these ideas in a notebook, and there are many others. But when I stopped doing pop culture shock therapy, there were two. I took a break for about a year, just to get a breather, and then wanted to get back into writing, and I just kind of went back through my notebook and looked at all of the ideas that I'd written down for different things, and there were two that I just really liked and was drawn to and wanted to write. And one of those was a Batman Joker graphic novel, which I actually was the first thing I wrote, and wrote a script for that. Never sought publication for it, but it was a nice exercise for me in script writing. And it was also, like Isolation, was a non-linear mystery story that started out in one time period and would have flashbacks into other time periods. So you'd kind of, it would reveal elements of the mystery in that story. And when I finished that script, I turned my attention to Isolation because I wanted to, I felt like I had a good feel for script writing. I made a lot of mistakes, kind of figured them out, and liked writing a mystery, and liked writing one in multiple time periods. So that really kind of made me feel more comfortable, like I could tackle Isolation. Isolation was a much bigger thing, because it's in multiple times and has a lot of different characters. I feel like writing the Batman graphic novel script kind of just helped me have the confidence, like, okay, I figured out what I need to do to make this work.
That's great. That's great. Okay, I guess we can go over the Kickstarter a little bit. It looks like it's already back, and you're going for just the extended goals, the stretch goals at this moment.
Yep. The support has been wonderful from the community. We were fully backed in the first 24 hours, which helped me get some sleep at night, which was awesome. And we've hit our first two stretch goals. Our first one allowed us to add 4 extra pages of content. So now not only will you get 100 and almost 15 pages of Isolation story, but you'll get script pages, character sketches, penciled pages, and thumbnail layouts, as well as a finished pencil page with lettering overlay, so you can see the entire production process of the comic. And the second stretch goal, there was a scene in issue number 3 that I really liked, but we had to shorten to make it fit the page count, and I had to eliminate introducing a character who's somewhat important to the first story arc, and had to delay that. So the second stretch goal that we hit is allowing us to finish and add those pages back in. And
Okay.
with the support we have through Kickstarter and some additional people have reached out to support it off of the platform, we're actually about $1,400 away right now from the third stretch goal. And that's a big one, because when we hit that triggers me being able to hire the art team and pay them to do the next issue, which is the second story arc, Isolation, Ghosts and Nightmares, issue number 1. And we will add the first, if we hit this, we'll add the first scene as a preview to all of the trade paperbacks for anybody who bought it at any tier.
It's great. Yeah. So you've written this and you have it planned to be what, 34 issues if you do the entire thing?
Yeah, I've always said it'll be between 32 and 36 issues. And that's mainly because while I have the story outlined, the second arc and third arc are in outline form, where the first one was fully written, and the first story arc in novel form. Originally, when I wrote it, was 11 chapters, but when I broke it down for comic formatting, there would have been a couple issues that were exceedingly long. So I ended up splitting one of those chapters into two to make it 12 issues. So when I say 32 to 36, it's to help me deal with that. If I end up having a chapter that's would be like a 60-page comic book, it allows me to break that down.
I got Seth here. Your ultimate outcome of Isolation. Just getting it out there?
So my ultimate... Yeah, so for the Kickstarter, it's to get the first story arc, Isolation Book 1, out into readers' hands, because I know Swolger Publishing is an indie label, was only in a handful of comic shops. So if you knew Reggie in the community and you ordered it online or happened to be near these comic shops, you could get the issues. But for most comic readers, that was not an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. So that's the first goal of the Kickstarter, and then obviously to raise the money to keep it going. But yes, Seth, the ultimate goal would be to complete the entire series, ideally in comic book form, as 3 books, each of which has 3 story arcs in the book. So Ghosts and Nightmares is the second of 9 total trade paperbacks that would complete the story of Isolation.
Seems like you have it mapped out pretty well.
I spent about close to a decade kind of writing notes, playing around with the story, trying to figure out how to make it work. Mysteries, especially complex ones. It's not just like a whodunit where, there's a murder and you're trying to figure out who did it. Isolation is about a mysterious community in Louisiana that existed there for hundreds of years. And there are very mysterious things happening in this community, where a blacked robe man called the Visitor would show up once every 7 years and take a tithe of children and gold from the community. And the story focuses on 3 years of extreme murders, 1869, 1919, and 1949. And then in 1949, the community of Isolation disappeared without a trace. And the story is really told from the perspective of a researcher named Mandy Connors, who in 1992, doing epidemiology research, comes along documents about this community as researching and trying to find out what happened. And ultimately that endangers her and those helping her because of the bigger world that isolation. There's a lot to it, to the different murders. There's literally at least one, if not multiple murders in every single episode of Isolation, but it also reveals a lot about this community and the larger world that it's a part of.
Yeah, there's a lot of big hitting issues, discrimination, stuff like that. A lot of hard hitting issues, a lot of moments that'll make the hair stand up on your arm. Very it's written very, it has a lot of shock value, has a lot of every issue has a cliffhanger at the end of it. So it's a lot of mystery, suspense. I like how Mandy, she explained it as she was studying the data of outbreaks, and there's an outbreak of epidemic of murders, basically, is what drew her to this area that's no longer exists. So it's a great concept for sure. A lot of different things going on.
Thank you. Yeah,
what's your favorite
been a
part
fun
about
story
writing?
to write. That's a good question. I really like, especially with mysteries, figuring out how to ask the right questions and how to give Easter eggs along the way and give enough information that if people are paying attention, they can start to piece some things together while not making it obvious. So I really like the plotting of the mystery. But I think the figuring out the characters has also been a lot of fun because there's a lot of characters in it. In part because it's about murder and because a lot of people are going to get killed. You know, there's occasionally some stormtrooper deaths, some, random bad guys that get killed, but there's also key important people. And the only way to really get the reader invested in those characters is to find a way to have them understand who those characters really are and make them three-dimensional, interesting people, both the good guys and the villains. And I find that's a lot of fun trying to get inside the character's head and figure them out and make them somebody that the reader would care about.
Yep. You do that very well, for sure. We got the
thanks,
so the tiers just start at $10 for a digital copy if you want to read digitally. It's back the project. The first physical copy, $25, and this is 4 issues. So imagine any trade paperback is going to cost you $25. Then there's a signature edition. We have signed sketches, remarks. There's just so many different tiers you can pick from. Cartoonist edition. This one kind of like piqued my interest. It has original comic strip art from your pop culture shock therapy. That's really interesting. I like that. Writer's edition, commission edition, if you want to have something commissioned. Back cover ad, if you want to advertise. Spoiler edition, which is the manuscript. And then, of course, the VIP New York Comic Con trip. Wow. So, plenty of different tiers. Go check that out, everybody. Isolation on Kickstarter. I also wanted to shout out everybody that's involved in this. Where is it at? We have Doug, who's the writer. Delia Gunnarsson. It says Adelia. Is her name Adelia or is it Delia?
So her name is Adelia, but she goes by Delia. So
okay.
So
I always
on
wondered
Instagram,
that because
if you follow her,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, on Instagram, if you follow her, it's Adelia, but she goes by Delia. So every once in a while, you'll see her listed as Adelia.
Yeah, and she had this pretty amazing painted style. And she does all the covers for the first 4 issues, which these are in the book too, right? These covers.
Yes, they are. Yep. We're going to have a cover
Okay, that's what I
gallery
thought.
on the inside covers.
And Chase Rowan took over on issue 3, and I love his art style. It is incredible. It's so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Chase Cowan is a amazing. Delia and Chase both do just a phenomenal job, and I think both of them have styles that very much fit the story of Isolation. But Chase has an energy to his work that the kind of the violence and the the struggle between good versus evil is he really brings it out.
This is Delia's.
Yep.
So amazing
And-
artists, both of them. Like I said, she did the first 2 issues and the covers for all 4. But is he taking over for good now? Is he going to stay with the comic with you, or?
So one of the things that I'm working through now is that both Delia and Chase, obviously, while we've been on hiatus, get other work. So my hope is to keep the entire creative team together. Delia has already done the cover for Ghosts and Nightmares issue number 1, but ultimately who we can use for those issues will depend on their availability and timing, and if they can do it in the time we need it done. But that's my hope. Chase worked with Beth, our letterer, who also is a variant cover artist, is in her own right an incredible inker. And Chase was hired to do pencils on another independent comic called God is Hungry. And Beth did the inks on his pencils, and it looks phenomenal. I hope, I don't know if Beth's allowed, I think she's allowed to show some of that now. It might be on her Instagram. But if you ever want to have her on the show, I'm sure she'd be happy to come on. She's super talented, and I'm hoping to keep as much of that creative team together as I can. I think when we show the covers on the Kickstarter, the Comic-Con exclusive, if you scroll to that one, it's the purple cover.
Oh yeah,
it's really artsy.
That's Elena Morton's cover. She's another
that's
one.
Elena's. It's the one. Yeah, it's the one with Mandy. It's like kind of a purple background with gold lines. Yeah, that's it. That's Beth's artwork, and phenomenal.
Yeah, just a crazy abstract. Yes, it's one of the only ones I don't have. I'm kind of jealous.
Really.
Of it.
No.
But yeah, there's
I bet Reggie has a few more of those.
All the cover A's are reflection covers, which I love reflection covers.
Yep.
And oh yeah, I also have Doug's brother Dave did this one.
Yes. My brother Dave did an awesome Dark Knight homage, and Adam Shermer, who also did another variant cover, did the all the graphics and colors. So it's a awesome collaboration. And Trev, I'll give you a sneak preview. If we're able to do the next 4 issues of Isolation, Ghosts and Nightmares, instead of a reflection theme, they're actually going to be connecting covers that are kind of like a like a ghost story, Bronze Age horror inspired vibe. So they'll be different from the first four, which we use the reflection theme. That one is more the ghost Bronze Age horror theme.
Really awesome. I love it that you're doing each arc as like a theme.
Yep, that's the goal. As long as we have good enough ideas and can keep that going, it just seems like a natural kind of fit for the story.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much. Oh yeah, I also wanted to show off. You did the Reggie Collects Smart Guide to Collecting. You helped Reggie with these. Now, whenever I got back into collecting, this is one of the first things that Tina sent me for AOK, and I read this a couple of times, and honestly, it helped me. It helped me get back into the community and get back into collecting. And he did a second one. So these are out there. You guys want to just read about some tips and tricks, different terminology, different guide, different places to get help. Just it's chock full of great information.
Thanks, Trev. That's how Reggie and I connected. I watched his show, and he was looking for someone to write blog posts for his website, and I started doing a blog for him. And after doing that for about a year, Reggie and I talked, and we felt that between his video content and the blogs, we could put together something that would be a useful tool for comic collectors. And that was our first big joint project together. And based on the success of the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting, that made Reggie want to expand and go into original comic content, and he launched Swolger Publishing from that. So that book's special to me, just not only because of the content, but how that opened the door for Isolation.
Right, that's amazing. Love those stories. Anything else you want to say about Isolation?
No, just I so appreciate everybody who's taken the time to go on the Kickstarter, check it out, and buy it. I think the people who've read it know that we worked really hard to not just put out a comic book, but we wanted to do something that is different, unique in the space, and hopefully that's reflected in the quality of the covers and the artwork and the writing and the storytelling. And just if anybody who's watching has never heard of it, but you're intrigued by it and you want to pick up a copy, this is the best way to do it, through the Kickstarter. So
yeah, like you were saying, with those first few issues being out to only a certain number of stores, I think it was kind of difficult for people to get all 4 issues possibly. Yeah. And this is an easy way for them to get it and consume it, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one, and then get one for Mike, because I know Mike's been wanting to read it, but he's kind of stopped the whole comic books right now. He's taking a break from that as we do the Dark Tower. But I'm gonna get one for him for sure.
Thanks, Trev. I appreciate it. So, and I saw Tina just pop up. I didn't get to say hi to Tina. There's a lot of wonderful people in the chat. Tina is amazing. Thank you, Tina. Tina's been a huge supporter of Isolation, as has Joe Anachronic Comics from literally day one. So it's great seeing some wonderful people in the chat.
Well, thank you so much for coming over. You're welcome to stay as I just finished up the stream, or you can take off, either order.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a few minutes. If I could just also mention, probably the best way, obviously, if people are on Kickstarter and they follow the Kickstarter, but if you're not, if you follow my Instagram, which is just my name, Doug.Bratton, BRATTON.9. I'm posting regular updates to the Kickstarter. So if you want to keep following it, or or see your name shouted out if you back the project, follow me on Instagram. And I'd love to hang out with you while you wrap up, Trev.
Cool. Thank you, sir. There's your Instagram page. I did have that pulled up. I don't know why I didn't go over it. But yeah,
That's okay.
you've
No
been doing a
worries.
lot of updates on there, which is a good place to keep up with it. I'm glad that you're doing that for sure. All right, shout out. I gotta shout out my boy, even though he's not here. He's sick. I hope he's doing okay. Evil's Comics wasn't able to, because of circumstances, join them last night during the Dark Tower reading, but they did another second half of the book 5, the Wolves of Kala. They finished up all that. So hopefully next time I'll be able to get on there in 2 weeks. We'll start book 6. But Mike's a great dude. Does comic book reviews normally. Go check out some of his old content for that. And we'll go ahead and throw this out here. Hashtag isolation. If you want to get a duck for the end of the month duck race for my giveaway, throw that in there. You watch anything or read anything recently? New comics or watch any TV shows or anything like that?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
probably lots of different stuff. I'll give a shout out. It's not new, but if anybody hasn't watched Cobra Kai, it's a fantastic show on Netflix based on the original Karate Kid series, and they just finished wrapped filming on the final season. And my son, Caden, applied to be and was accepted to be an extra on the show. So I got to spend a day down in Atlanta, Georgia with him on set while he filmed with the cast, and got to meet a bunch of the cast and crew for it. So that's a fantastic show to check out. Also, I'm a huge fan of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, and I believe season 2 has finished filming and should be out on Netflix sometime either later this year or early next year. And season 1 was outstanding. So it's another show I encourage people to check.
Have you seen the Dead Boy Detectives?
Not yet. It's on my to watch lists this summer.
I don't think it's quite as good as Sandman, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was more episodic.
That's
I enjoyed
kind
it.
of what I figured. It very cool. I did hear they did some cool crossovers with Sandman, so I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, there's a couple characters made appearances. What's up, Fanboy Prime? Hope you're doing okay this evening. Who else did I? Robin, what's going on, Robin? I don't know why I was about to say isolation. Tony, what's going on, Tony? Yeah, that was hilarious on Durz's stream. That was great. Who else did I miss? Andrew Kai, thanks for coming in. Chop, what's going on, Chop and Drop? I think that Shop, what's going on, Shop for Comics?
Oh.
Brian, I don't know if I might have said hi to you. How's it going, Brian?
Brian.
Yeah, I watched Death Note. It's an anime again. I hadn't finished that before, but I finished that. Pretty cool. Kid finds a notebook, and every name that he writes in it, as long as he can picture the person's face and has their name, he can kill them. So the main character kind of turns into a villain, and the villain's kind of the good guy. So it's kind of like the different perspective, and just an awesome mystery and like a battle of the minds. The whole anime.
That sounds cool. That sounds really cool.
I rewatched the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings series, because season 2 is about to drop. So I love that series.
Oh, nice.
I know a lot of
I watched the first couple of. Yeah, I saw the first couple of episodes, and then I just was busy and didn't finish it. So I need to go back and finish that.
What's up, Canadian Survivalist? Thanks for coming in. And I watched a movie called Atlas that just dropped like 2 days ago with Jennifer Lopez. It was actually pretty good. It's on Netflix.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's about artificial intelligence, and of course it gets loose and self-aware and starts killing people. And there's a big battle, kind of like the Terminator, and the artificial intelligence leaves Earth, and she heads a mission to go chase after this rogue artificial intelligence on a different planet. So it's has a cool sci-fi, AI sci-fi planets, space stuff. Pretty cool. All right, let's run it. We've got 14 entries. Cool. Las Cruces is on a roll. Nice job, Las Cruces. Add you to the monthly duck race. I think you already have a duck. Nope, it's your first one this month. Congrats, Las Cruces. Like showing up where all the good ones are. Oh, thanks, bud. Appreciate you coming by. We got here Sandman and Neil Gaiman are my favorite thing in the world. Nice. Man, you and Doug would get along perfect. That's his jam. Uh-oh. May have lost Doug. Yes, Death Note is awesome. I don't know why I hadn't finished it. I went back and there's a few episodes I hadn't finished, so I just watched the whole thing again. Anything anybody else is watching or reading in the chat? Let us know. Skynet. Robot Army. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's basically like Ultron. He keeps on creating different AI synth humans. So like Jennifer Lopez keeps contacting this one guy and he's like, you can't kill me, and she would kill him, and then the bad guy would just make another copy of that guy. Pretty sick. Oh, Birdman. Eventually you'll win. You'll win something. About to open up a duck farm. What's up, Manny? I don't know if I said hi to you. I think we did lose ducks, yeah, I think we did lose Doug. Anything else we have? I just started Netflix One Piece. Oh, yeah, the anime is tough just because it's so long and the starting animation's rough. The show, though, that live action show is very, very good. I'm not even a One Piece fan that much. I respect One Piece, though. Blood Brothers, Mother, and You and I Are Fire. Is that a name of a movie? It rhymes. That's a long list. Thank you, Tina. Parasite, the anime. I watched a little bit of that. I have not finished it, though. All right, I guess let's do some covers here. Really don't have much else to talk about. So let's go over the covers of the week. We got this Kiss cover, Wedding Special, X-Men. We got Moon Knight, or Moon... shit, I forgot her name. Moon Dragon. And I don't know who that is. But nice Kiss cover there. Oh, okay. I got you. Blood Brothers' distillery. All right, cool. Have to check that out. Next, we have Wolverine number 50. I like this Shink cover. Breaking that by Justin Mason. Never heard of that artist. But love that cover. Next we have Star Wars. This is probably cover of the week. Tyler Kirkham, Darth Maul #2 variant. Pretty awesome. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday and a great weekend. I don't know if y'all are off tomorrow, but if you are, have a great day. Be safe. We got Helverine coming out this week. If you guys have been reading any kind of Ghost Rider, he's made an appearance in there, but coming out with his own book. It's the A cover. Pretty sick. An appearance in there. Hey, what's going on, Doug? Coming out with his own book. Pretty sick. I'm hearing feedback.
Hey, Trev.
Hey.
Feedback. I think I'm having internet issues. My apologies. Hey,
You're good. You're good. Got the Scotty Young variant.
Issues. My apologies.
Next we have the Kevin Eastman variant, which was my favorite. Definitely getting this one. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibe. We got here. I'm gonna start picking up some Star Wars titles. Darth Vader. Vader's the best Star Wars title for sure. Darth Maul. Thrawn was pretty good. Mace Windu. There's a Mace Windu one going on right now. That might be, I don't know if it's ongoing or just a mini series. It's on issue 4, but Mace Windu kind of doing detective work, trying to find the Sith, the dark side. We have Edge of Spider-Verse. Love this cover. I don't know who does this. Scott Forbes. Almost negative space, but not. But that's sick. I don't even know who that character is, but I love it. Next we have, I think, the conclusion to Avengers Twilight. Really awesome series. I read the first 2 issues. I have the first 5 issues, but read the first 2 issues. And awesome read. Can't wait to see how that goes. I think this might be the last issue, though, of Avengers Twilight. Hey, Doug. All good. Thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Everybody go support Isolation on Kickstarter, please. Need that community support. Probably not going to get this, but this is a cute cover if people like that. Got Power Girl and her cat playing in space. All good, Will. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. Thank you, Doug. There's this Kickstarter again, everybody. Next we have Harley Quinn. This is a lyrics cover. That anime style or animation style. Her OG outfit. What was that? Spider-Woman's from Miles Morales animated movies. Oh, so is that maybe her first appearance? Or, I mean, it's Edge of Spider-Verse is probably a first appearance in every issue. Yeah. You should go check it out. I'm sure you live in a pretty populated area. There'd be some of those on the shelves still. Got a DC Pride. We got Harley and Poison Ivy. I always pick this up every year. Both of them. Like those 2 characters a lot. And a couple more. This Batman Dark Age #3, just a classic cover. It's Kevin Nolan. Batman coming out of the sky. And lastly, this is probably cover of the week. John Jang, Flash, #9. Love some John Jang. Even though he put out this his new Wolverine cover coming up, and it was rough. The face is rough on it. Hey, see you, Wellbore. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. I'm pretty much gonna call it also. Oh, wait a minute. I got one more thing to do. I gotta open up this. I got my comic shells in. DJ Links. Go check out DJ Links. And if you want to order one of these, you get 10% off by using code Link Squad. But oh, cool. I ordered a couple of these for Heroes Con. Comic shells. Almost like a trapper keeper for your comics. Let's see this thing. Oh, it's dope. Really awesome. Padded. And it's got a sleeve in there for up to like 8 comics. I think it said 8 for each side, or a slab. And it's got this nice cushion in between. Really cool. Thought about doing the store folios, but these were a little more expensive, but definitely last a lot longer. The comic shell. Got that 2-pack with a green and a black. So 2 of these will easily go in a backpack with room to spare. Really awesome. So yeah, if you're interested in that, comic shells, go check those out. Comicshell.com. Use the code Link Squad and get 10% off. That's pretty much it, everybody. Check out my live streams back here next week with Evil Mike at 9, and Wednesday 3 to 5 open panel. Anybody's allowed on just to come on, and while I bag and board and talk about anything, just to hang out for the community. Have my new comic book day video dropping Thursday night at midnight, and every other week I'm on Evil's Comics channel talking about the Dark Tower. Wasn't able to be on there last night, but go check it out. Check out Evil Mike's channel. Great dude. And thank y'all. Have a great holiday. Be safe tomorrow. And have a great week. And as always,